Well, thank you, everybody, and welcome to Inspired Conversations. We're going to get right to it. I am Kim Evans. I am the owner of Two Gorgeous Integrated Health and Wellness and also Coach for KME Coaching. I am so excited this evening. I have the very special guest tonight, which is Miss Courtney L. Sanders. Courtney, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for saying yes to be my guest for November. I'm so excited. I do appreciate your time. So we're going to get right into it. Miss Courtney, what I love to do, that's just me. That's the thing that I do. Everybody know that I do. I like to always send a blessing out to my podcast viewers and as well as listeners, and I hope that is okay with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to get right into it. I just want to send a prayer out to all you listeners from around the world because God is making us global. So, what I always love to do is invite the Holy One in. So, I want to just begin and just say, God, I want to thank you for being so omnipotent, for being so powerful. So, just being, keeping us in the hollow of your hand. I just want to say thank you, God. Just run with this. Just do as you wish. Just do as you wish, Lord. And we just thank you for just being here and showing up. We want to just bless our guest today, Miss Courtney L. Sanders. Lord, we just want to just speak just health and wellness and vision on her life and to continue to rise her up like she is doing, transforming so many women and men around the world. We want to just say thank you for her time and thank you for her servitude. We thank you because we are here to serve one another. And God, I want to just say thank you for my voice and thank you for the blueprint because with you, I am nothing. So I want to just say, God, your words and your thoughts be large within me. And thank you, everybody that's listening to this, as far as the East, as far as the West, as far as the North, as far as the South. I am sending this message out. And I hope all of you guys will get just a little bit of a nugget so that you can be transformed, maybe be illuminated, maybe be inspired from Miss Courtney's words. God bless you all. In Jesus' name, amen. Miss Courtney.
Amen. That was
Wow.
good. Yes.
Hey, we got to start this podcast
I
show.
love it.
Right. So Miss Courtney, I'm going to share with the world because a lot of people may not know who you are, but then a lot of people do know who you are. So may I please just share just a little bit of some snippets of who you are, if you mind?
Sure.
Miss Courtney Sanders is an award-winning seven-figure online business coach. I've had the personal opportunity of being able to meet Miss Courtney last year, as well as when we were in Atlanta. And she's just as beautiful in her spirit in person as she's in offline. So that is who she is. Seven-figure online business coach, women's empowerment speaker. It's so beautiful that you could say that you are a coach. But Courtney, it's also very important that you are a women's empowerment speaker. And everything that you say and that you do, you back it up. And I like that. She's known for her ability to break down complex concepts. I was in this wealth training just a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta, and she broke it down in the most minimal denomination in 20 minutes, and everybody got it. It was exhilarating. And we're going to end with the icon, if you don't mind, Miss Courtney, in this podcast. Okay.
Sure.
Her concept, she could clearly and succinctly break it down in a fresh and reliable way. Courtney has been featured on Forbes, InStyle magazine, Black Enterprise, a Detroit, Michigan native. You from Detroit, Miss Courtney?
I am.
And she's a Howard grad. You're a Howard grad too. We gotta
Amen.
put that in there too. She's a Howard grad. I'm like, why is she not gonna put that in her bio? But I know about you, Howard grad. We gotta give some smizzes on that. She currently lives in Houston, Texas, with her husband and her two children. Welcome to the podcast show, Miss
Thank
Courtney L.
you.
Sanders.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for saying yes. And this podcast show gonna get better and better and better and better. So thank you. So we're gonna get right into it. And what you do as a business life coach. Tell the podcast viewers, Miss Courtney, what do you do?
Yeah, I love it.
Coach? Let's get right into it.
Honestly, I feel like I get paid to learn and to share my knowledge with people, but I really specialize in helping people grow in their personal brands and really in their personal lives. So my specialty is helping people take their success story, and we all have one. Some people think their success story isn't as big as someone else's, but if there's something you've accomplished, I help people take their success story and turn it into a 6 or even 7-figure personal brand. And I'm super passionate about that because I feel like online coaching is one of the best ways that women can economically empower themselves. And when you are economically empowered, you can be empowered on the personal side, you can be empowered in your health and your fitness and your marriage and every other area of your life. So I really love both the life coaching and the business coaching side, but I lean on the business coaching side because it's like the first catalyst that people need to create that financial freedom in their life so that they can be all the things they need to be in the other parts of their lives as well.
I love it. Out of everything that you do, well, oh my God, I got them all listed here. But before I get to that, because I'm so excited, you mentioned that you can have it all, that and you can have it all at the same time without falling apart. You can go beyond balancing and you can have it all. Explain that a little bit, how our queens today can have it all at the same time without
Yeah.
losing it.
I think we've been taught this paradigm of balance, which presupposes that it's all these separate things. And I'm like juggling, right? And it's how do I juggle all the things? But what I've learned both in my business and just in my personal life is you really want to create a life where it's all blended in. And so that's why I love my business, because my brand is me, it's my life. People always joke, like even now on this video, they're like, oh, you're dressed in your brand colors. Why does your backdrop look like the colors that you use on whatever your social media or your clothing? But I'm like, it's all the same. It's not intentional. I'm not saying, oh, let me wear this shirt so that I can be on brand, but I literally live an on brand life. And I'm monetizing my actual life, my actual journey. Everything is blended in. So there's never any extra work that I have to do. I'm essentially just being myself and sharing my light and sharing my gifting with others. And then I'm showing others how to do the same. So for good balance, we just blend it all in.
I love it. And along the way, the light bulb came on and you put the dots together. One and one makes two. And so now it's just like in your trajectory, it's working for you. But let's go back. Let's go back just real quickly from the beginning. When did you realize that you were going to be a podcaster? But well, before the podcast, when did you know that you were going to be a business coach?
Man, yeah, we have to take it way back. So I didn't know coaching was even a thing. I didn't even know this was a career path. I knew that I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I actually had my whole mess up in school. So my Howard story, which is kind of famous, at least with my audience, is that I had a full ride engineering scholarship. I got really inspired because Lisa Price, the founder of the hair care company, Carol's Daughter, came on campus and talked about her entrepreneurial journey. And I was like, oh, forget my engineering classes, I'm going to go start a hair care business. So at 19, I attempted to start a hair care business and it failed miserably. And not only did the business fail miserably, but so did my grades. And so I received a letter the next semester saying that my scholarship was going to be revoked. And I was kind of scrambling, robbing Peter to pay Paul, trying to figure out how I was going to do all of this. And so in that, I started blogging my journey, not because I was trying to build a brand or be a coach. Again, I didn't even know this was a thing, but I was behind. My friends were graduating. I always tell people it took me 6 years to finish my undergrad because I lost all my credits and switched from engineering to marketing. And so I was really alone in DC trying to get some accountability to like hold me to finishing this degree and doing all the things that I needed to do. So I started blogging thinking if I just got a few readers who would like be interested in my journey, then it would give me the motivation to be consistent and keep showing up. And so with the few readers that I had and having that consistency, I was reading a lot of personal development books, and I started to get the light bulb that this might be a thing when they started reaching out to me saying, hey, we've watched your transformation. We watched when you blogged and you had all this drama and then you've been turning it around. Can you help me? And then a very large women's business organization, and they're actually called WeBank. They're the largest certifying body for women-owned businesses. It's an acronym, but it's spelled WBENC, Women Business Enterprise National Council. They reached out to me and asked me if I would develop curriculum, like leadership development curriculum, personal development curriculum for their incoming group of other women college students who are going to be participating in their programs for the next year. And they invited me to submit an RFP. And I was like, I had to Google this. I was like, what the heck is an RFP? I don't even know what this is. And it ended up being like a contract for $70,000. I ended up not getting it because they lost their funding that year and all these different things. But I was like, I cannot believe these people almost paid me all this money, invited me to bid on this RFP, literally for things that I was just learning in books and just experimenting on myself and just blogging. And so from that point, I knew that, okay, maybe the hair care company is not the thing, but if I could figure out how to make this work, this will be the thing. And so I graduated school. I got a good government job after school and was, working and doing my thing, but I kept building this brand on the side, kept coaching. And then, yeah, after about maybe 3, almost 4 years of working in the federal government, I was finally getting to the point where I was earning so much working with clients one-on-one, doing speaking events. I actually spoke at the White House and I was still working my full-time job, which is crazy. I got that invitation on entrepreneurship and I wasn't even a full-time entrepreneur yet, but my brand had grown so much and they were like, oh, can you come out and, speak about women and minorities and entrepreneurship? And I'm like, sure, let me see if I can get paid time off at work. So things were growing so much that, I finally got to the point where I realized, wow, I'd make more if I just left my job than if I stayed here. And so that's when I was able to make it a full-time thing. But I think when people started reaching out to me after that season of like blogging and just trying to get myself together, and then when that conference, that organization was like, pitched this RFP, and I was like, there's real dollars associated with this. That's when I started to get keen on like, is coaching a thing? Like, am I allowed to do this? Like, how do I do this? And so that really sparked it for me.
That is amazing. And you just continued on that trajectory, on it, the next level and the next level and the next level. So what actually defined it? What was the defining moment? Was it the podcast show that you started doing? Because I know you were blogging, but then you had your podcast show, or did the podcast show come after? Because how I actually found out about you, I've been watching you through your hair care videos on YouTube. Miss Courtney, you have some of the most beautiful natural hair. And it's like, who is this? What is this woman using on her hair? So that's how I really, really became known about who you were. And then, I met you just in person, like last year, but it's like, seriously, it was your hair care videos. So when did the podcast come into fruition in between, after you doing some of these speaking events for WeBank, and you were starting to, be an inspirational coach for, women leaders and women owners? When did that come in? Did that come in after, or when did you?
It came in before, right around the same time. I want to say I started my podcast like around 2014, and 2014, 2015 was when I was getting like very serious about my business. So up until that point, I was just like a content creator or a blogger, but I didn't have the business acumen to like turn it into anything. But around 2014, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I need to figure out how to make money on this. And so that's when I started to do events. I did an event in Dallas. I hosted another event in Atlanta. And so I started to kind of shift my audience to like, hey, I can help you with like life coaching and all this personal development stuff that I'm learning. And so I really started the podcast, I would say around 2014, in that same journey, as another way for me to really demonstrate my philosophy, my thought process around personal growth, and just really share my voice. And I think people really appreciated that I was kind of a breath of fresh air in the industry. Everybody's so used to Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, no shade thrown, Les Brown, like, amazing people, but it's a very like specific type of person, specific type of messaging. And so, for me to be this kind of like young millennial, Black girl, curly hair, like sharing my life experiences and kind of inserting myself really in the personal development sphere, I think a lot of people were really attracted to that. And so the podcast was very helpful because I think people could hear my mindset, but also kind of hear my heart, because my podcast is very informal. I interview guests every once in a while, but it's mainly me just kind of riffing off of things that are going on in my life and things that I think are important for people to know. So,
and I think it's a good addition, with a lot of your coaching digital courses that you have, for them to go back and to listen to your messaging and to be reinforced with your messaging. I think it's an awesome, why not have it as an awesome source? I enjoy having mine. I like to have mine with lots of guests, but then I also have my mono podcast as well. So I've listened to some of your podcast show, and it's amazing, because what is the truth about finding your passion? That's your underlining theme in your podcast. What is that truth, Miss Courtney, about finding your passion?
Yeah, man, this is like always a thing, because so many women are like, I'm not passionate about this, I'm passionate about whatever, and they, want to run off and start a business. And I'm saying part of the reason why you might feel like you're not passionate about something is because you're not making money on it. Like, and that's really the underlying thing. I think we've been taught and groomed by society. I think there's even malicious intent in this, to be, oh, it's not about the money, and, kind of like, what does that have to do with anything? I just want to pursue my passion, impact, whatever, not realizing that if you had the financial wherewithal to do more, your passions would change, right? And so many women are not making any money because they're quote unquote pursuing their passion, not realizing that if they really thought about what are their talents, what are their gifts, what are their skill sets, and they sought to actually create a business around that, they would be shocked at how quickly, very quickly, they would get real passionate based on the income that they were making. And then from there, if there's other passions and different things that they want to do, that then supports that. The money that you're making can then support that. So I'm very much about having an eye towards passion, but having an eye towards profit too, and then doing something at the intersection of both, right? And so many people want it to be all about the passion. I'm like, you can get passionate about a lot of different things, but why don't we get passionate about the things that are also going to be profitable for us?
I love it because at the end of the day, it takes money. Look at PG&E,
It does.
look at the gas prices. At the end of the day, it takes money. And what I loved when we actually was at Danielle Morel's, which is my coach, and I know she's your coach. You have done some coaching with her in the past, and awesome. We're building this beautiful dynasty. I had Dr. Kimmy on my podcast show as well, and she's one of your proteges actually that you're coached. And it's just amazing because when we look at it, what are the things that I learned so much in the quick snippet that you shared with me is witnessing. And I'll never forget, our brief conversation is that we actually have to embody what we're doing. And you just said, it's one thing about passion, but it's one thing we got to make money in our business too. And to be able to showcase that and witness that and embody that what we're doing. So what I would like to also ask you, Ms. Courtney, is like, what is that bridge? What is that gap? You're doing it very, very well in your coaching programs. What is that gap between the pathway of making money and your passion? What do we call that? So that women can be on this higher train, collapse time, make the money that they need, their self-worth. And I think that needs to be kind of like communicated, and you're doing it very, 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 very well. What would you call that? I know the answer to it, but I'm asking you that question.
Man, I mean, there's so many things. I mean, in terms of embodiment, I have this whole concept around, being iconic and showing up as the symbol of the thing. But I think you said it actually. I think a lot of this honestly really boils down to women owning and understanding their worth. And so again, society, we're kind of groomed to, part of the reason why it's not about the money is because we think that what we have to offer is not worth much money. And so we kind of like soothe ourselves like, oh, it's not about the money, because we don't think that we can get much for what we have to offer. But I always share with women that, one, the value that you have to offer is way more valuable than you think it is. Like, you think it's nothing. Oh, I just do this. It's not, it's easy for you, so you don't think it's a big deal. But I'm telling you, if people are asking you for that, like, there's something there. But what women also don't understand, they think, okay, maybe they can accept, all right, my value, my skill set, my expertise, my knowledge, I know this thing, so that makes me valuable. I'm saying it's not just the value that you have, it's the vessel that you are is also valuable. And that's what women, I think, need to understand. The person you are, the life experiences that you have, the way you speak, how you show up in the world, you are activating for a very specific type of person. And there are some people who literally will not get the message unless they hear it from you. So it's not just what you know, it's who you are that is also valuable. And women aren't used to charging or valuing like themselves. Maybe we can get behind like, okay, I have this special expertise or I know something, so okay, I'll charge people to teach them what I know. But this idea of like, I'm charging people to be in my presence because I'm an activating personality, like, can I do that? Am I allowed? Right? That seems so strange. But again, self-worth. How much do you value yourself? And I've just learned to overcome that. And
I love it, Courtney. And you said it so clearly. You said it so well. We was just at the Wealthist conference, and you were one of the keynote speakers a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta. And I took copious notes. And one of the things you're talking about is icon, if you don't mind me sharing. Yes. And it's so beautiful. The 3 circles that you talked about. Mm-hmm. And the one is I am, and then in the middle circle is do, and then the other one is content. And you just talked about it. You just landed on it. So if you can just briefly talk about that, because we can't get to the high ticket offer, the high coaching offer, or pricing our worth until we deal with this center. that you so beautifully talked about at this business training. So if you don't mind, just share a little bit about your icon. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So even just defining the word, right? Ultimately, we think when we say icon, we think it's like a super celebrity or, some big name person. When you look at the definition of an icon, it's just simply something that is a symbol or a representation of something. And so I always tell people that people are not spending money with you or joining your coaching program just because you know something. They're actually buying, they're like trying to get through your program to really achieve what they really want, which ultimately is an identity. It's ultimately, who do they want to be, right? What do I need to do in order to be that? And so you will find that you can charge a lot more, that you have a lot less struggle with people, asking you a bunch of questions about your pricing or wanting to be in your programs, when you don't just share, oh, I know this thing, but when you share, I am this thing, right? When you embody this thing. So it's one thing for me to say, I know how to be successful as a woman. I know how to make money. I know how to run a business. And okay, I can teach you that, but then that kind of makes me a commodity, because then you're comparing like, oh, well, you say I should do this, but somebody else says I should do that, right? But when I am the thing and I live my life as a walking testimony and a walking demonstration of that thing, people come onto my programs not just because they want to know what I know, but they want to be the type of person that I am. And so my content is, in addition to showing my expertise, is about showcasing and documenting my embodiment, which is what that I am part is. Many of us are not clear, what is it that we are that other people are trying to get close to, right? We all have some juice, some je ne sais quoi, some magic type characteristics where people are like, I like how you do that. Like there's something about you, I want that for myself. Many of us are not even aware, or we have this false humility where we've blocked ourselves from understanding it. You got to get clear on everything that you are that someone else would want to be, not just the things that you know, but what kind of person are you that they would want to be. And then once you're clear on that, then you can broaden the circles and start to ask yourself, well, if I was that person, and I am, what kind of things does that person do? And that's what we do. And then showcase it on social media, what kind of things would that person have, right? How do we be the person? Which goes back to what I was saying earlier. People laugh like, oh, is this intentional? Like, why do you make your clothes on brand? And it's like, it's not, I'm not doing this on purpose. I am this my brand is a reflection. I am her. Like I am the person, the identity that I'm selling. And so everything is in congruence. My brand looks like me and I look like my brand because I'm the identity that I'm selling.
That's
And
amazing.
that's what people are buying into.
That should be $1 million. And from there is your content. And that just small whisper that you share with me when we was in Turks and Caicos, when you were actually doing your presentation, is just like witnessing. It's just share with the world what you're doing. Let the people know that you're on travel. Let the people know that you are on vacation. It's not flossing. Those was your words. It's not flossing. Your witnesses and saying, because you price what you price, because you know what you do, and you having people do these transformation, people see the lifestyle, and that becomes you. You are your brand. And that was beautiful. Like dot, 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 dot. It's like ding, 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 ding. It's like the light went on, it's like, your words were so pivotal, and it's so important, is that we must embody who we are, because that's how people resonate, and that's how people draw the connection to who we are.
Yeah.
So that is a beautiful thing, Courtney. Oh my God, this is so great. Oh my God. Let's get to magnetic marketing and masterminding. You have a course, actually. You have several digital products that you have. Wait a minute. Let me list a few of them. Miss Courtney has done a lot. The secret seminar, outlining your signature offer challenge, the content planning, monetize your magic course, just do it project, paid from the stage, like a boss masterclass, rock your routine time management, magnetic marketing, effortless attracted clients just by being you. My God, Miss Courtney, you have a plethora of a variety of digital products that you have done in your masterminding over the years. How to mastermind your emotion and how to stay motivated. And then we come to the one that you are doing right now, which is called the package. Please explain the package.
I am so in love with the package. It's so fun. It's been one of my most enjoyable programs to date. The content is super powerful, but I really came up with it actually off of the eve of me having a blockbuster sell of my own coaching package. So I guess what you would call my signature program is called the Next Big Name. It's a 12-month program that people go through. I have assistant coaches that teach in there. It's like a big thing. And so I released it this year, and on our first release, we did over $500,000 in sales. To date, we've done nearly $1 million just in that program. And it's been like incredible, right? Like I made more in that program that I did like all of last year in my entire business. And so people have been asking me, even like my peers, who are like, man, I'm six figures, multi six figures. I'm looking to break the 7-figure mark. You did it. You're doing it in this one program. How are you doing that? How did you come up with a coaching program or a coaching package that you knew was going to sell so strongly and so powerfully? And it's such a funny question to me, because the way people ask it, they're coming from a very like mechanical, technical, like, okay, how did you come up with the topic? Did you do customer service research, or whatever? What was on your sales page, your marketing copy? Like, teach me all the like things and techniques in order to have the type of results that you had. And so really this new program, the package, is my answer to everyone, which is saying it's not just the topic that I came up with or the coaching package that I came up with. It's me, it's who I was the package, right? I presented myself, and I've been doing this in my business and how I show up in my life. I packaged myself. I became the package that then could sell any package. And so the whole training.
Oh my God, I knew that when I saw it.
Yeah.
So please, Courtney, tell us what's in the package. Go through those bullet points.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good.
Package. Come on, include it. I knew it. I said, when I saw that, I'm like, that is she. She is her. She has become. She is the package. This is who she is. This is her essence. This is her. I saw it. Come on, explain it.
No, I loved it. Even the trailers, I did this like James Bond, like, I know trailers to go with it.
The commercial, and it was like, my gosh, she could be on Channel 7 News. I mean, it was a brilliant. Tell us, please. What is the package?
So the tagline of the package is how to be and create the package that sells, right? Because you got to be the package before you create it. So there's 3 core modules, and then within it there's all these trainings that break it down. But the first part is being the package, right? So in this, especially now in this coaching era, I feel like maybe a few years ago it was enough to just have a website, some pretty pictures, put your shingle out there and say, I'm a coach, and people would be like, oh great, and they would sign up with you because it wasn't a thing, like there weren't that many coaches. But now there's a ton of coaches, which is fantastic, but it's not enough just to say that you're a coach. You have to be something that activates people. And so I always use this analogy of popcorn, meaning a lot of coaches or a lot of online business owners complain. They say, oh, I need to get a new audience. My audience isn't buying. I'm not getting these clients. And I'm saying, you're the person with a bowl of popcorn kernels, and you're like, I don't have any popcorn. These kernels are busted. Like, where's my popcorn that I can eat? What is this? And it's like, you have to put the popcorn kernels in the microwave or put them on the stove, or you have to add heat. You have to create an environment for those kernels to pop, right? You have to be the activating force on those kernels in order to have popcorn. And it's the same thing with your clientele. People think, I need a bigger audience, I need a new audience. You do not. You have more people already paying attention to you than you could possibly service in your coaching business, literally. Even if you only have 500 people following you, if all 500 people wanted to give you money today to work with you, many of us would not have the systems in place in order to be able to handle those people. So you already have more people than you need. The problem is those people aren't activated, and they're not activated because you're not being the package that sells. You're trying to create packages that sell. The first step is you need to be the package that sells. You have to be the activating force that makes them pop up and say, oh, I'm ready. I want to be a client. They don't wake up in the morning thinking, oh, what coach do I want to spend thousands of dollars with? Like, not typically, but if you are that activating presence, they're like, well, by golly, I wasn't planning on joining. I wasn't planning on spending this money. I was minding my business, living my life. But then I got in your vortex, and now I'm like, I have to be a part of what you're doing. There's a way to do that. And so people think that this is like natural or charisma or whatever. anyone can do this. And so in the first part of the package, I teach you how to be the package, how to be that activating force. And so once you learn how to be the package, then we shift into creating packages. And I'm very specific about how to come up with packages that sell. And the hint is, it's not based on customer research. Like most people think, okay, let me look at the comments or poll my audience. What do you guys want to learn from me? What coaching program? Part of being the package, right? You need to demonstrate leadership. You're being the leader. You don't follow your followers, you lead your followers. There's a way to come up with packages that is core to you and who you are and what your vision is. And it's so attractive and you're so magnetic about it that people follow. Again, they wake up and they're like, I didn't even think that I needed this, right? No one's on Google right now typing in the package. How can I be the package, right? But me as the leader, me as the visionary for my own brand, me understanding what my people needed and what was missing in the world, I then said, this is the package that I wanted to create. But again, I can sell it because I started first, I know how to be the package. So module 1 is really important, being the package. Then you using your own leadership and visionary, you come up with packages, but you're able to sell them because you're being the package. And then in the last module, we cover all about how to sell the package. And so I share my pricing and my promotional strategies. I have a very unique way how I market my services. I don't do the traditional like internet marketing thing. I create like a whole experience that gets people bought in and they're like, well, what is she doing next? And oh, did you see this? And I'm, they're waiting on pins and needles. Again, there's an art and a science to it. And so I teach all of it inside of the package.
I love it. And I can see you very inspirational behind it. So who is the package for?
The package is for, I would say, existing coaches or existing online business owners who maybe they already have a brand, they know what their niche is, maybe they've worked with a few clients, but they're tired of feeling like they're starting to feel like a commodity and they're tired of it. They're tired of trying to convince people to buy their offers. They're tired of trying to figure out how to stand out from the noise. They're tired of doing all the technical build your funnel, click funnel stuff that they feel like they have to do. They're doing a lot of things because they're like, oh, I have to do this, means to an end type situation, but they feel like they're starting to be a little repressed in their business and they're not getting the results that they want and they can't understand why, because they're doing all the things, right? They're following all the guru stuff and they don't know what's missing. And so I'm like, this is what's missing. Like, you're not being the package, you're not creating the package, and you're not selling the packages. And so
oh my God, Courtney,
program shows you.
beautiful. You must be the package. I love that. You have to be the package that sells. Number 2 is creating packages. Once you be the package that you sell, you learn how to create the package. And 3, it's like, oh my goodness, and you bring it all together. Can I ask you, how long is this program?
Yeah, it's we just finished the last module. We have a Q&A starting tomorrow. In terms of hours, I'm like, ooh, let's see.
If someone was to come in, how long is it? Like a 90-day program? Is it?
No, I mean, it took me 3 weeks to create, right? So I think each module is roughly like 3 hours, and there's 3 core modules, so about 9 hours of training. I just did the live rendition and teaching of it. I have instructional designers that then come behind me and like break up the videos to make them easier for people to go through and rework the worksheets and all of that. So typically I will do a live edition. People, when they come into my world, it's exciting because they're like, great, they get to be with me as I'm creating the course live, and then they get to ask questions. And then I hire my instructional design team. They package up all the things and order it according to best adult learning principles. And then the final package ends up being, the full course. So I don't know how long the full course is going to be, but I know we have about 9 or 10 hours of really in-depth content that teaches this whole process that someone would be working through in order to really embody this package philosophy.
And I can, and I'm assuming that people can actually enroll in it still right now.
Oh yeah, they can still enroll in it. Yep.
Okay, cool. Because I know you just launched it like last month. I'm so excited for you. It appears that out of all of your creations, that this is the one that you are definitely the most excited.
I'm the most excited to your heart too. Even the promotion of it, I was just doing the most. Like, I was super extra with the commercials and everything. But This one I had a very strong vision. And again, this is what I talk about in the package. Like this one like came through me, right? It was no like customer research or whatever. No one told me, oh, you should create. Like me as the visionary, me really as the artist. I said, this is what I want to create. And so even the visuals for it, I did a whole photo shoot with it. I did a whole commercials. I was very strategic. I wore like black and white, and it was this kind of paired, stripped down essence, the mood, the music, because I was trying to convey the message of when all these things are taken away from you, right? When you don't have your fancy ClickFunnels, and you don't have your webinar, you don't have the Facebook ads and the techniques that your guru told you needed. If everything was gone, would you still be enough in order to make your business work? Could you still show up and just sell yourself, like sell your knowledge, and would people still buy into you? And for a lot of people, unfortunately, the answer is no. And so I wanted to even do the visuals the way I did, because I know I have a lot of like fanfare with some of my stuff. One of my famous photos that is like the shiny suit photo, even on my team, they're always asking like, oh, what picture should we put on this promotion? And they're like, the shiny purple suit, you know? So I know sometimes when people see my branding, there's an association of like a lot of stuff, like a lot of glamour and glitz and whatever. And so I really wanted this to be a pared down visual, because I needed people to understand that the package is you. It's not any external anything. So that's what I said. It was a very strong vision where I was like I had to get this out. Like, even if no one bought it, I would have been totally satisfied, because this was something that I just had to teach, you know? So.
And I think that you are teaching it quite well. I mean, I saw it when you actually unleashed it, and it was like, oh my God, and saw the commercial. It was like, I was right there, because before that you had did like a 5-day challenge, just like, and then you unveiled the package. It's like, hot diggity, gosh darn, like Georgia Peachy King, this is just so amazing. It's like, because you're at the point, Courtney, you are really living the embodiment that you are sharing for all us business coaches to do. So kudos for you for
Thank
doing
you.
that. So, and you're doing it in a very well form. So I want to ask you, as we begin to close down the podcast, is what are you saying now to your 7-figure self? What are you saying? What are you saying to you?
I'm saying like, this thing that I've been saying to myself and to my team is, we're building a skyscraper here, right? And I say that because to build a skyscraper, like the first 2 years is spent building the foundation. And the foundation goes so deep. The foundation of a skyscraper goes deeper than the height of a lot of people's houses or even like mansions, right? It has to go so deep to support what they're building. But once all the time and all the infrastructure and everything is spent on the foundation, the skyscraper is unique, right, in the city and in the landscape, that it's one of the few buildings that can build something that literally touches the sky. And so this is what I'm saying to myself, and this is what I'm saying to my community, to my team. We're building a skyscraper here, and like this is literally just the beginning.
I love it. I love it. And I look forward, and I'll be watching you to the next level of your success. Let me also add this for women who might feel like, yeah, this is beautiful, and I want to know, where do I fit in? But can you speak to the broken pieces, and can you speak to the broken places, and can you speak to the women that may still have a few limiting beliefs that sabotage in themselves, that they cannot see the true package? For that, coach, can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do deal with that in the package, but I'm actually really excited. I'm working on this for my Black Friday / holiday offer, but a training that we're actually going to be providing for free for anyone who joins any of my, existing programs, is a training all about overcoming that imposter syndrome and breaking down those limiting beliefs. So, there's a certain way that I approach my mindset, even when things aren't the way that I want them to be, or my circumstances. Oftentimes women feel like, well, I'm not allowed to be that person because look at my life right now. Maybe things aren't exactly the way that I want them to be. And so I have a process for how I really even repackage those things to give you the motivation and really the self-credibility that like you're allowed to do this. And so I'm really excited to be putting that training together. And again, anyone who joins any of my programs, they're going to get it, because I think it's so important for women to be able to master this before they do anything else. It's like a prerequisite. And so I'm like, okay, let's work on that. So that's what
Amen.
I'm working on for the
Amen.
holidays.
And a kind suggestion, if you have an affiliate link, or if you think about it, or let some of your other business coaches, I mean, I would love to share that in my group with ladies,
Absolutely.
because that's something that I don't touch on
Mhm.
in a greater deep form like you would. And
Mhm.
because you have a package for that, and then you have
Mhm.
that for Black Friday coming out, please
Yeah.
send it out to us. I love to share that with my group, and other
Yay.
coaches can share that as well. So the more that we can be transformative in helping other women to
Mhm.
rise up to their greatness, hey, that's what resources are for. So before I ask you, my last question is, mother, wife, sister,
Mhm.
auntie,
Right.
friend, nurturer,
Right.
girlfriend, coach,
Yeah.
how do we find our solitude? How do we find our peace in the
Mm.
midst of all of this creating, Courtney? How do we find, what is that balance solstice that you glean to bring you back to the plumb line?
Oh, definitely.
Always
Yeah.
have to be brought back to the plumb line to keep
I
us.
think one part of it is being clear on my identity, not just all the hats I wear, wife, mom, all of this, but we talk about being an entrepreneur. Like I legitimately see myself as an artist. And because I own that, for a while I used to be very like, oh no, why do I need inspiration the way that I do? Or am I being flighty on this thing? Or, now I'm just like, yeah, I have systems and processes and I can be focused and, do all the stuff, but I need that inspiration because there's very much an artistic quality to what I'm bringing to the table. Like this business is my canvas, right? Coaching programs are my mediums, and I'm creating something that's one of a kind. It's not just that I want it to be effective; I want it to be different. And so, because I own my identity as an artist, I then give myself the tools, the space, what I need, the way an artist would. And it's unique to me, right? I'm a foodie, right? Like I always tell people, I'm like, I'm unapologetic about this. For me, I have this thing, I have to have a CEO lunch at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, and it's got to have wine with it, right? And so I will take myself, like if you ever see me do this, it's ridiculous and it's extravagant and I love it. And I'm like, I dare somebody to say something to me. I will take myself to the Four Seasons hotel downtown. I'll go somewhere like wherever, somewhere ridiculous. And I'll order up this like 60, 70, $80 lunch for one person, right? I'm having steak frites or like this crazy extravagant salad. I want the dessert. Yes, give me a glass of wine. And I say that's my CEO lunch, right? That's the place where if I want to be away from home, I'm away from home, or if I want to order in and have that experience at home, I'm having it. But it's my place to just reconnect with myself, reconnect with my own ideas, pamper myself, and just remind myself this is the reason why I do all these things and this is the experience that I want. It might be something as simple as going on a walk. Travel is really big for me, going to new places, because that's when I get inspiration. I was just in Dubai, Tel Aviv. We were both in Turks and Caicos together. I'm going to South Africa hosting a retreat. So constantly pulling in new information. I love going to museums. That's something I've done since my Howard days in DC, like seeing other art, right? Even if it's not in my medium, I just like to see how other people's brain works. So I'm always like feeding that artistic quality that I bring to my work, and I'm very intentional about carving out space for it, even if it's something as simple as sitting in my living room. Part of why I'm like fanatical about the way I decorate and all of this is because I know environment is part and parcel with motivation and how you feel about yourself and your life and things. So I spent a lot of time and a lot of money like getting my living room the way I wanted. I had this fireplace built. It was kind of loosely based on one of my favorite hotels. And so in the evening, I'll just go there with whatever, a cappuccino, a espresso, I'll light a candle, I'll have the fire going. And maybe I'm just reading a book. Usually I'm not even watching TV. I'll put like Spotify on the TV to create this background music. And my husband comes in and he's like, what is all this? What is all this ambiance, this mood? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing what I need to do. I need to create this ambiance, this mood to get myself in the creative juices, and that's my restorative space. So I'm a stickler about environments, I'm a stickler about experiences, and I'm unapologetic about giving myself the experiences and the space that I need to be the person that I want to be and to create the kind of work that I want to create in the world.
Excellent answer. Thank you for answering that. And thank you for sharing that into those intimate details, because oftentimes we as women don't feel as though we're worthy of those things. And I love the fact that you are showcasing these experiences and you were able to articulately, kindly, and lovingly share those things with your husband. I also heard you to say is that you do the things you need to do. One of the things that I love that when we were in Atlanta is that you had your nanny with you. And I think oftentimes women don't look at systems. And it's like, we can't have it all. The question when I first started the podcast is how to have it all. And oftentimes we as women don't look at, you can create those systems, but in order to create those systems, you have the income to afford those things. And you were able to come to this event and you had your children with you, had one of your children with you, and you had your nanny with you. And it's like, who does that? But Courtney can do that. And that's beautiful. That's an experience that you can have, and it's like, wow, we need to see those kinds of things. So thank you for sharing that. You celebrate your moments. You pull back. You have that CEO lunch. I have mine. I call mine the executive lunch.
Oh, I like it.
Mine is the executive lunch where I allow myself an additional hour of time. And I go out and have a nice lunch. So yes, thank you for illustrating that. And thank you for sharing that. And on that note, what's your favorite color?
Ooh, it's a fight between purple and blue. I think lately I've been feeling more purple, but sometimes I swing and it's blue. So I don't know, indigo in between.
Both of those are royal colors. When you say purple,
Yeah.
it's a royal color fit for a queen. And on the last note, Courtney, what three things that you would like to share or leave with the ladies, with women coaches in this podcast show? What three things you would like to just leave with?
The first thing, and this is something that I went over in detail in the package, I would say don't focus on the market, focus on your market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we, again, devalue ourselves or think, I can't charge that or whatever, because we're thinking, what people in the world, what they'll pay. But who cares what they'll pay? Focus on your people and the unique experiences and the value that you bring to your ecosystem. So don't focus on the market, focus on your market. Again, understand that your value isn't just in what you know, it's in who you are, right? It's not just your value, it's the vessel. What are the life experiences that you've been through? How are you? If you're funny, then that's something that somebody who needs your humor is going to need. If you're tough love, no nonsense, again, that has nothing to do with what you know, but it's your essence. You might be the exact type of person that someone needs. So don't shy away from charging, not just for what you know, but the type of person that you are, because that's activating as well. And then I would say make sure that you are committed to your own journey. And I say this because I think sometimes in this space, especially as coaching, we're kind of, advisors, there's this feeling that you have to be like the expert all the time. And you always have to place yourself as like, oh, I know all the things and I'm teaching my audience. But I think one thing that I've been very transparent about is that I'm on my own journey to stuff. There's always a goal that I'm trying to achieve. There's always something new that I'm trying to learn. I'm always on my own journey, and I'm always demonstrating that. And in many respects, people don't want to share what they haven't achieved or the journeys that they're on because it makes them feel vulnerable or like, oh, I don't know it all, or are people going to think less of me if I'm saying that I'm still struggling with this thing. But what they don't realize is if you can always show that you're on a journey, you can always show that you are moving, right? And movement creates momentum, and that's how you get people to follow. That's a form of leadership. So don't be afraid to share the things that you're working on, because that's actually going to make you more attractive and make people want to follow you because they see that there's still a place that you're going, right? You're not standing still.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing those three things. And, you are your market. And I love that. You are your experience, and value who you are and commit to the journey. And one of the things I love so much about you that when we were talking is be that true expression of yourself and witness what you're going. And you know what, Miss Courtney, I took that to heat. I am over the top. And you know what? I shut down my old Facebook group. I had a new one. I've been working on my coach with it. And it's just like, be who you are. And if you, whatever you are, own it. And I own that energy. And it just, ever since we had that conversation with Courtney, I felt so good. It just felt so good. When you drop those diamonds, you drop diamonds, it was amazing. So I want to say thank you, Courtney, for your time. How can the audience get in contact? How should they follow you? I am going to leave all your information in the show notes, but what would you like to say or to share how people should follow you?
Yeah, I think the best places to follow me are Instagram and YouTube. That's where I'm the most active. And I'm Courtney L. Sanders on both. So just type in Instagram, Courtney L. Sanders. I'll never misspell my own name. And I say that because there's, all these like fake accounts, popping up or whatever. It's just my name spelled correctly, Courtney L. Sanders on Instagram. Same thing on YouTube, youtube.com/Courtney L. Sanders. And I'm publishing a lot of content on both of those platforms. And that's usually the first place where I'm announcing something cool, something new, a new masterclass, free this, paid training that, whatever. So if you're itching to jump into something, you'll learn about it first on one of those two platforms. So
I love it. And especially your podcast show. Stay connected to your podcast show.
yes, the Courtney Sanders Show on iTunes and Spotify.
I love it. I love it. I'm hoping I can't wait till maybe next year. I know you're busy, but you're gonna come up with your own hair care line here in a minute because your hair is so fabulous.
Oh,
My
thank
God,
you, thank you.
you might as well. You should just go ahead on and do it, Miss Courtney.
Maybe.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so kindly. I'm also going to drop in your Black Friday special. You just
Thank you.
that affiliate link. Well, send me the link and I'm going to
Sure.
put the show notes too, because I think that would be awesome, awesome, amazing. So Courtney, thank you so much for your time. God bless you, you all. And let's give a warm welcome to Courtney L. Sanders for being on Inspired Conversation. I am Kim Evans. I am your host, and it's been a blessing. And Courtney, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.